You're watching Color 10, Springfield.
Good evening, I'm Richard Hoffmaster.
And I'm Melissa Seary.
Today we'll travel to North Carolina for a report on ticket buying and go to the campus of SMS for a student's reaction to last weekend's beating death of a student by police.
And in sports, we'll follow the zany capers of the Stanford University Marching Band.
American mercenary Eugene Hassenfuss was sentenced in Nicaragua to the maximum penalty of 30 years in prison by a three-member People's Tribunal that convicted him of terrorism and crimes against the state. Hassenfuss was captured last month when the plane he was cargo holder of was shot down. He said the plane was flying weapons to U.S.-backed Contra rebels fighting Nicaragua's leftist government. A woman who ran a New York colon therapy clinic has been arrested on manslaughter charges for allegedly killing a man during an enema. Xenia Green, 40, was arrested Tuesday and charged in the March 1st death of Frank Van Duisen, 60, of Manhattan. Van Duisen died of acute peritonitis when his abdominal membrane ruptured during an enema administration by Green. According to medical examiner's report, he was declared dead at the scene. A majority of Missouri residents recently polled said they would have sacrificed the Star Wars defense system at the Iceland Summit meeting in return for reductions in nuclear missiles. The poll, consisting of 503 telephone interviews with Missourians of voting age, found 55% disagreed with President Reagan's rejection of the deal, 31% agreed, and 14% were unsure. In the aftermath of this election month, here's Bill Whitaker in North Carolina on a report about ticket buying.
If you find it hard to believe that votes are bought and sold these days in America, just ask William Carter of Hanging Dog, North Carolina. He calls himself Rooster, and he sold his vote in many elections.
Went and voted.
The National College of Research Institution, which was formed in 1966 to monitor student activism on campuses around the nation, released its annual report Tuesday. In a twist from the days of its 60s rebellion findings, the Institute polled colleges around the country in a survey to determine the nation's most apathetic campus. In its look at 432 universities, the poll indicated our own Southwest Missouri State University at the most absolutely apathetic campus in the country. After several semesters of student indifference ranging in such issues as apartheid to local acts of police brutality, SMSU was declared the nation's most politically and socially indifferent college in the nation, even edging out the Jesuit College of Hawaii. In a related story, authorities in SMS administration are looking into the death of Lewis Reed Jr., a 21-year-old student who died in police custody Saturday evening. Reed and 4 other students, including 2 girls, were reportedly beaten by police dispatched to a check on a noise disturbance at Reed's home, located at the 900th block of East Cherry. A clash between police and several members of the party ensued, and Reed and 4 others were arrested on charges of disturbing the police and assaulting the police officers. Reed died later the evening in his jail cell. Police and SMS administration have declined to comment on the situation until the investigation is completed. We go now live to the campus of SMS with our action reporter Trent Shaw to get student reaction.
Thank you, Rich. I'm here with SMS student Mike Carroll. Tell me, Mike, what is the mood on campus surrounding the recent student rallies?
Well, you know, surprisingly enough, Trent, and I guess maybe not so surprisingly enough, the mood hasn't really changed very much. People who knew this young man were, of course, shocked, but the overall attitude is fairly lame. People just aren't nervous. They aren't excited. They don't realize how this affects them personally.
Do you feel that the police's actions have been justified by student behavior?
Well, I don't know. If you'd punish a 2-year-old boy for spilling milk with a cattle rod, I guess you could call it justified. I really wonder if Springfield has become a police state. I've talked to Ira Glasser, the Civil Liberties Union representative, our head. He's Senate representative, and students are being violated and really don't care, surprisingly enough.
Well, do you feel that the school's administration have handled the situation?
Well, in a token sort of way, you know, we had a little lame kind of rally, and I talked to teachers and they thought it was boring. In fact, I talked to one teacher and he reported he'd been locked in his office for 3 days during the 60s. He said, "This rally's boring, I'm leaving," and he did. I wonder, you know, we had a Civil Liberties Union representative there. There weren't as many people as I thought could be there. And the administration was really behind the scenes controlling everything that went on. They decided that Rock 99 would be our musical interlude for the rally. They decided who would speak and almost exactly what they'd say. It was very, very discouraging.
Well, that sounds like it. Do you think that the incident will affect the students standing as the most apathetic in the country?
No, I really don't think so. I think we'll stand strong and keep pushing out those jezzies.
Okay. What do you think of the Peer Patrol?
After only one weekend, it's pretty lame.
Okay, thank you, Mike. This is Trent Shaw on the campus of SMSU.
It appears that there's a revival of self-awareness on SMS.
I believe so, reminiscent of the 60s.
Yes.
In sports, Southern Methodist University could be the first to get the death penalty, a 2-year suspension of its football program, if the recent allegations about cash payments is true. SMU, now serving 3 years probation mandated in 1985 because of illegal cash payments to players by boosters, would be the first school yet imposed with the stringent penalty that was part of the 1985 sanctions package adopted by the NCAA. Now here's a look at professional race car driving. The wacky Stanford University marching band is at it again. You remember the Stanford band. That's the one that marched onto the field with 4 seconds remaining in a game against California in 1982. The trombone player led interference on California's winning touchdown. This time, the Stanford band has been barred from taking the field in 2 games because of previous shows in which some members dropped their pants. Repeated warnings don't do any good, athletic director Andy Geiger said, but said several band members dropped their pants and 6 others urinated on the playing field at the end of the game last month. The following week, they gave a lewd performance that included the formation of a symbolic male genitalia. Band members won't be allowed on the field for Stanford's next 2 contests. If they want to buy their own tickets, sit in the stand and play. That's fine, said Geiger. And that's it in sports.
That's tonight's edition of... Okay. Sounds like the zany antics of
Oh, the usual. The usual.
Well, good night and stay tuned to the Newlywed Game.
Good night.
And now, let's meet our newlywed couples for today. Couple number 1.